what are we going to call this little? This is going to be on topic. Welcome to On Topic episode 1, a sidetracked production. I mean, I don't know how on topic we're going to be though.
I probably will.
For once.
Yeah, for once.
So
Sometime.
Yeah, so this isn't a episode 13 officially or anything, but we're just talking about the new Batman trailer that's dropped or has been out for a few days, depending on when you hear this. Hopefully, it's going to be soon. So we thought we'll just do a separate recording and chat about it. Basically, what were your thoughts?
I loved it. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be the best, possibly the best comic book movie that's ever been made, just from that trailer.
Yeah, it's interesting because we, of course, caught up the other day, and for whatever reason, the topic of trailers came up, and I said like a really good trailer is often, it gives you little snippets of what's coming, but it never really delves into plot details. It's more, this is the tone, this is how it's going to look. And funnily enough, then this comes out and I go, oh, it's almost like Matt Reeves or whoever just read my mind.
Well, I don't think this trailer really gives away much.
No.
Like, I can't really sit there and piece together why he's doing. Well, I mean, I can tell you why he's doing what he's doing because he's Batman.
Yeah,
that's what he does. But I can't tell you like I wouldn't be able to provide context to the scenes specifically. Like obviously he wants to know something, so he's going to the Penguin, or he wants to know something from the Riddler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there's points where he meets Catwoman and she feels a connection, and obviously he must feel it as well.
Yep, we don't. We don't know necessarily how they come into contact. It could be he runs into her during that first trailer with the when she's
doing the
robbery. It could be in the nightclub. In this one, there seems to be a little nightclub action sequence, and it seems like she may be in the same place, potentially disguised.
Yeah, she's disguised.
Yeah.
Did you when you just rewatched it, did you notice the part where he's like on top of somebody and beating down on them, which I think is actually a reference to Ben Affleck's Batman, a little bit of a nod. But if you notice, she is in the background and it shows her like watching him do it, and she's like a bit like, oh my, what is he doing to that guy?
Yeah.
Pattinson is an absolute savage in this trailer. He is almost borderline vicious, like, but he doesn't kill, obviously. And there's a point in the trailer where it shows his hesitation to kill. I don't know if you picked up on it. Sorry, rewatching it, but when that guy shoots him in the chest and he pins him to that post and he's electrocuting him, he kind of like has a little moment of realization of, oh, I'm going too far, and he just drops him and walks away rather than continuing it.
No. That's in the little subway sequence. Sorry.
Yeah. The guy shoots him in the chest, and he pins him, and he's got that like electrocution thing on his neck, and you can see in his eyes. And there's a split second there. He's like, "Oh, I need to stop," and he just lets him go.
No, I do like that. And it kind of makes a bit of sense. I was thinking about watching it. He's sort of maybe a year in compared to
2 years.
2 years in. Yeah. Oh, but compared to Christian Bale's first outing, which was a origin story, it's interesting to see how, in retrospect, how controlled. And I guess we'll have to wait for the film for the final chat on this, but how controlled he is in comparison when it comes to his moves, his stealth, his knocking out thugs compared to Pattinson's, who's kind of still sort of taking it to the very limit because of all this rage and inexperience.
I don't even think it's inexperience per se. I think he's just angry. I think that's all it is. I think he's honed his.
Maybe something's potentially just driven him to that point that we don't know of yet.
He's still angry, like, about his parents. There's a comic book called the series called Earth One, where Batman is more grounded. He's very inexperienced. Pattinson even has a similar look to this Batman, and it has like similar tones to it. And just what I'm saying is in that comic, he's extremely aggressive too, but it's because he finds out that his parents are actually criminals
Do you
or
think?
were connected to the criminals in some way, and the fact that he's now like kind of tarnished, and the whole point of being Batman was to avenge what he thought was a good memory of good people. He finds out that they were actually horrible, and they also inflicted a lot of pain
Mhm.
onto all of Gotham.
Do we
And
think that's where that's this? I certainly got that from the first trailer, or potentially. Do you think that might be the direction they take this film?
well, if you look at that part where he's got all like some riddles written down,
With the
there's one
arrows?
that says the sins of my father with question marks.
Yeah. Okay.
And it seems like Riddler knows who he is, or he knows Bruce Wayne's past, and he's
Mm.
interested in Batman at least, but he hasn't quite made the connection between the two, or maybe he has.
Oh, I would say he probably has, and it's just going to be a fun game to him about whether he.
He's, I want to be better than Batman because you're the best.
Yeah.
I want to be better than you. Because that's his whole thing, isn't it? He feels unloved, unwanted, unrecognized, and Batman is basically a celebrity. Everybody, like,
Mm.
I guess people love Batman. Maybe not in this universe yet, but people know him. There'd probably be people who are like, "Oh yeah, I like Batman," but Riddler obviously is like, "I want to take him down, or I want to be better than him. I want to prove to everybody I'm better than him." That's normally how he is.
And on the topic of Riddler, it's interesting, and I'm quite pleased that they took this approach that there isn't actually too much more of him. We see some glimpses of okay, he's obviously caught at one point. It'll be interesting if that's early on and he
Right at the start.
escapes. Yeah, or he might even get caught quite quickly, and there's something else to solve with him later on. I wouldn't mind either way, but I'm glad that it gives more of a spotlight to Catwoman, but also Penguin, especially. He had a bit more going on in this. He seems to have quite a prominent role.
I heard that he doesn't have. Colin Farrell said that he's only on screen for like a few minutes,
Okay.
but that could be a misdirection.
That might be because, I mean, well, outside of, we've seen some more interactions with him and Batman, which presumably, I mean, if I had to put it together, I guess that club sequence, it seems like it matches with when he chats to him about, watch it, what does he say? Watch it, darling, or something?
He goes, "Whoa, settle down there, sweetheart."
Yeah.
And then there's another line where he says, you don't see him saying it, but he says, "You're everything they say, ain't ya?"
I
So I guess
suspect,
he's kind of
yeah, he might
impressed.
chase him from there. But then I'm wondering where probably my favorite little shot of the trailer is placed, where he's sort of looking out of a penthouse of some kind into the presumably sunset.
Or sunrise.
Mm. And that's kind of a nice lead in the prominence of the color orange, especially compared to the first trailer. It's quite interesting how it seems a lot more stylized than I first thought the film was going to be. And I do think it's good to. We've talked about this on our sidetracked show before. I don't know if I've ever, if I've cut it out or not, but I might just reiterate. I do, when I watch the films, I do quite like when Gotham's its own character. It's a very distinct
Yes.
place that's not that you could kind of picture being in the US or wherever, but it's something a little more gothic or a little more fantastical about it. And it even reminded me of going to the color palette again, and even the use of sort of railways in this. It kind of reminded me of the first Nolan film, which was definitely the more stylized, where Gotham actually felt like this weird web of, in that case, monorail network systems, and it just became Chicago.
There's one interesting thing that they did, because I watched this trailer during the live stream. I got up to watch it, but they edited a 6-second clip out of it, or about 4 seconds out of it, where he slams his foot on the accelerator and like yells, and then that's when the Batmobile's booster like sort of, I guess, pushes the car harder and he speeds up.
Okay.
They cut that out for some reason. I guess maybe they didn't want people like that got hyped from the trailer to reenact it. I don't know.
I have no idea why they do that. I mean, that's
It has
probably
to
an
be
accurate guess.
Yeah. Oh, we don't want people who are like, "Oh, look, I'm going to be Batman," and they slam their foot down on the accelerator, or like kids or whatever. Who knows? One other interesting thing that you don't see it in the trailer, but if you watch the live stream, they had this little behind the scenes thing that that had Batman's journal in it, and he has some writing in there, and he says something along the lines of it's basically like the monologue of it's not just a call, it's a warning. And then he continues on in the journal. He says, they think I'm hiding in the shadows, but I am the shadows. He says, I don't know what if anything I'm doing is actually making anything better. So he's doubting himself.
Yeah.
And then he goes on to say, I don't really remember any of these nights. They all blend together. In the morning, I have to force myself to remember them. I have to try really hard to remember what I did.
Yeah, okay. So he's a very kind of broken hero in a sense.
I think either it's because he gets damaged a lot, like in the head, or he represses the memory, or he when he puts on the mask, he isn't Bruce at all. Like they fully go into the idea that when he puts on the mask, he becomes a character. He becomes somebody else.
Yeah.
And almost has a different personality completely. Yeah.
Did you watch much of the fandom beyond the Batman footage?
I watched that. I saw the Flash trailer and I was like, this is okay. It looks fine. Michael Keaton. That's about all I care about. Probably one of the best looking trailers, I think.
Oh, yeah. It looks really well polished.
Yep. As a lifelong Batman fan, this is, in my opinion, the perfect mix of fantastical elements of the gliding, the grappling hook, the jumping through ceilings, walking at fucking machine guns with flashing to light him up so you can see him, and then cutting out back into the black, you can't see him. That's straight out of cartoons and comic books, man. That's so cool.
Oh yeah, well that's all because what's lighting those scenes are the bullets themselves, which is pretty great. I mean.
That's exactly what I'm saying. It's just ripped out of those cartoons where you see it and you're like, oh, that'd be really like that. When you're a kid, you say that and you go,
yeah,
cool to see in real life.
Now the action set pieces of what we've seen on them look fairly promising, as far as a lot of nice wides and sort of medium shots, so you can actually see what he's doing. Yeah,
for the most part, they have some actual long takes of him
just kind of going full ham, really,
and not just throwing elbows.
Yeah,
with a made-up fucking fighting style.
But I would be excited to see if they go for any sort of stealthier kind of sequences, because I do really like.
I'd love to see him infiltrate an area and take people down from the shadows. Whether or not he will, I mean, I heard that the movie goes for almost 3 hours, so he could
possibly, yeah.
I also wanted to mention at the end when the Penguin is upside down in the car and Batman is walking towards him. I saw a comment on a video. I don't remember who made it, but the comment said, "Oh, I like that. It's kind of like a bat hanging upside down, looking at its prey."
Oh, nice.
And I thought, kind of cool. I feel like that's intentional.
Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah, could be.
If it's not, it's still cool. And that scene with the car, just the acting from Colin Farrell in that part sells it so good. How
he goes from completely cocky, I've bested you, and then there's this little close up of his eye where he's like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
when he sees it coming,
flame. That is so cool.
Yeah.
That is so I was emotional at that point. I was like, this is incredible.
That made me think, because I was trying to, often when someone uses, and we'd have to wait to see the film, I guess, for this, but often when someone uses a very strong color palette or a distinct color kind of emerges, it's clearly symbolic of something. And I'm wondering if it's meant to be kind of like a manifestation of his rage, because it almost looked like a fucking demon coming out of a flame.
Yeah, he is angry too. And to tie it back to that Earth One thing I said earlier, in the very first issue of that, or the first sort of volume of that, the person who is responsible for his parents' death, or one of them at least, is the Penguin.
Oh.
And he actually goes to kill him in that, but he doesn't. He ends up almost dying, and Alfred breaks in to the Penguin's office and fucking shoots him and kills him in the comic book.
Shit.
Because in that version, Bruce has no ninja training. He has nothing. Alfred is an ex-military man, and he trains him to fight.
Right.
So he's very, like, his gadgets don't even work half the time, and he hurts himself a lot. It's interesting. I don't think, obviously, Pattinson is not that inept. His gadgets clearly work. You can see that.
Yeah.
You can see a lot of what he's got going on is working quite well.
It's the kind of twist on this character is more like, as we've said, it's just sort of unfiltered anger and rage and frustration.
I like that because I think a lot of people can relate to that too. A lot of people, especially Batman fans, who kind of like him for his using his own demons and darkness to help other people. I feel like a lot of Batman fans can relate to that on some level. I do see that there are people that are somehow still not sold on Pattinson. I think at that point, you'd have to be just doing it for the sake of, you'd have to just be not interested just for the sake of, I don't know.
Just to kind of maintain your point. You don't want to sort of look like the fool.
I don't think that anybody in their right mind has watched this trailer and gone, that looks horrible. Like, I have to at least watch this and go, yeah, that looks good.
Yeah. I think,
like that.
Yeah, the only thing, I haven't seen anything in this trailer that sends off alarm bells by any means, as far as what they've given us. I will say, though, there was one shot that looked a bit funky, and I rewatched it on my laptop just to check. It might be the quality of the trailer, but with, again, this is just being petty because it was pretty great otherwise. With Gordon using the bat signal, you kind of get this camera shot that's a little further back where it's sort of him on the left side on the building. But it seems like it just sort of seems a bit smudgy. It could just be an unfinished CG thing. A little out of focus too. It's a bit odd. I guess it lacks the depth you would expect with depending on what you're seeing, where it's like the building on one side and in the background is sort of like the street below that kind of reaches out. Like it just felt a bit flat for me. But again, it's not like it's a huge issue. We have to wait and see the final film. But again, that's a very minor thing. In otherwise, interesting trailer.
Did you have a particular standout moment at all after rewatching it with better volume?
I mean, I still quite liked. I just liked a little clip of Penguin looking out into the little sunrise sunset. In terms of, no, that would probably be my standout moment. For me,
right?
It's just a nice little visual.
Yeah, it is very nice. The golden sunset or sunrise. I don't know what one it is, to be honest. But
yeah,
I guess like it could be either. It could you could think, he's gone back to his house after a night of fighting Batman, or he's watching the sunset, knowing that now that it's going to get nighttime, Batman's going to be out there.
Yeah, he's
again.
out there. Potentially,
that's kind of an interesting idea. Like he literally dreads the nighttime because he knows what's going to happen every night. For me, I'd have to say obviously I love that Batmobile scene at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the most hype part for me.
Yeah.
But I think properly hearing him speak when he's kind of angry, when he's in the police station and the Riddler's sitting there and he's kind of taunting him. He's like, I've been waiting to meet you. And he goes, what have you done? Like, I loved his voice in that part. I thought, wow, he sounds great, but he doesn't sound ridiculous, even when he's yelling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He doesn't sound like, you'll be the best you ever.
Yeah. What have you done?
Mm-hmm.
He gives me a Michael Keaton vibe with his voice, except more aggressive when he gets angry, obviously.
Yeah.
He never really got enraged.
I don't think many did they? It was more from Bale onwards. I don't know about Val Kilmer or anything, but
No, they were always kind of pretty chill.
Mm.
I guess that was like from Adam West.
yeah. Yeah, but that was our discussion on the Batman trailer and a few things tangentially related to Batman. So I guess the episode spin-off name On Topic will still stick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I think it's safe to say we're both looking forward to the film. Yeah. I was going to say question, but we won't do that. We'll save that for an official episode.
What's black and blue and dead all over? I don't know.
Our sub count.
That's a real. Damn. Riddler called us out in the trailer. He knew what we were going to do.
No,
Paul Dano, please.
I need to edit. I need to. Oh no, I don't have the skill or patience to do this. But I was thinking for the thumbnail, it could be like Bruce standing on that little compass thing, or whatever you would call it. You know, the arrow direction arrows of all the films. And it's like, and it says subscribe to Sidetrack Podcast somewhere there. That'd be quite funny. Oh well, but yeah, we'll leave it there and chat to you guys next time.
Ciao.